Hello guys, how are you?
I'm Hardeep Singh. Welcome back to your own YouTube channel. IELTS updates and recent exams. For more updates related to recent IELTS exam writing test topics, listening, reading, practice test, and speaking, you got guesswork. Please, guys, participate in everyday listening and reading practice test to achieve your desired band score in your actual IELTS exam. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Press the bell icon for the upcoming notifications. Don't forget like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, IELTS updates and recent exams.
Part 1.
You will hear a conversation between a student and a walking tour guide.
Firstly, you have some time to read questions 1 to 5.
Hello, walking tours.
Hi, is that Oxford Guided Walks?
Yes, it is. Would you like to book a tour around Oxford?
Well, I've already booked a tour, but I need to cancel it. Two of my friends can no longer make it on Friday, so we have decided not to go ahead. I'd like a refund if possible.
Oh, I see. And which tour had you booked for, please?
It was the Harry Potter tour.
OK, do you have the booking reference number? It's on the ticket.
I haven't got it with me.
Well, when did you book the tour for? Do you remember?
It was on Friday the 15th of June at 2 o'clock.
OK, let me check your name so I can find you on the system. You are?
It's Dave Chew.
That's C-H-O-O, is it?
It's C-H-E-W.
Right, I'll just get the details on the screen.
I live in Plumstead, London.
And did you pay by credit card or debit card?
I paid by debit card for myself and 4 other people.
Now, there is a cancellation fee of 20% of the entire booking.
I didn't know there was a cancellation fee.
Yes, I'm afraid so. You paid £50, so the fee works out at £10. That means I can refund £40 back to your card. Do you want me to go ahead with this?
If I change it to another day, will you still charge me the fee?
If you wish to postpone, you can do so for a flat fee of £5.
Well, that sounds better. I'll get back to you with the new booking details once I've spoken to my friends.
Now you have some time to read questions 6 to 10.
So what date would you like to book the new tour?
Well, Friday week would be ideal.
And this is for the Harry Potter tour again?
We'd like to try a different tour, the Inspector Morse tour, please.
Now we only run that tour on a Saturday. Will that be all right for you?
Yes, that's better, actually. Oh, and how long does the tour last, please?
It's about a couple of hours like the other tours. We depart at 1:45 sharp, and I recommend that you aim to arrive by 1:30.
Right, that's fine. Can I go ahead and book?
So that's 5 adults for the Inspector Morse tour starting at 1:45 on Saturday the 23rd of June. Is that right?
It's only 4 adults now.
I see. I'll need to recalculate it. The Morse tour is £13 each, whereas the Potter tour was £10. So it works out at £52, plus a £5 for the change of date, making a total of £57. And you have already paid £50, so I will need to charge you an extra £7. Is that okay for you?
That's great.
And what is your debit card number again, please? That's the 16-digit number on the front of your card.
Yes, I have it. It's 5471 4710 2382 3900.
Now, if you have a pen and paper handy, I'll give you the new booking reference number.
OK, I'm ready.
Right, it's M236YC. And I'll post out your new tickets today.
And tell me again, where do we set out from?
We meet up in Broad Street in the centre of Oxford in the pedestrianised zone adjacent to Balliol College.
Is that near to Oxford Railway Station?
It's about 1 kilometre from the station, no more than 15 minutes walk.
Will you be our guide?
Yes, I'm Jane and I'll be your guide for the afternoon. I'll be wearing a wide-brimmed hat with a red bow so you can recognise me.
Oh, that's helpful. See you on Saturday afternoon.
Look forward to meeting you. Bye for now.
That is the end of part 1.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 2.
You will hear a tutor explaining to a class of students the programme of events for a field trip.
Firstly, you have some time to read questions 11 to 16.
Good morning. Can I have your attention, please? I'd like to run through the programme of events for the Northern Ireland field trip. I'll explain the travel arrangements in more detail shortly. Can I point out that the trip is not compulsory, so you may opt out if you wish. However, we recommend that you go on the field trip because it will increase your knowledge of the subject. Last year, over 75% of students on the trip achieved a top grade in their assignments. OK, I'll explain the travel arrangements and the costs once again. You'll receive detailed handouts later today, but make your own notes if you wish to. We leave here on Saturday the 10th of September and arrive back the following Saturday on the 16th. The fee for the field trip is £349. This covers the cost of the entire 8 days, including 6 nights half-board accommodation. You will be responsible for paying for your own lunchtime meals. Your seat on the minibus and the ferry is covered by the deposit of £50, so this leaves an outstanding balance of £299 to be paid by the end of the month. We'll be travelling on the Holyhead to Dublin ferry, which departs Holyhead at 20 to 3 in the morning. Yes, it really is that late, or should I say early. And it arrives in Dublin port at about 6 in the morning. So you'll have to grab some sleep on the minibus and on the ferry. The trip by road from here to the ferry terminal will take at least 2 hours, and we need to arrive 30 minutes before the ferry sets sail. So I'd like to leave well before midnight. Please be here no later than 11:30. Is that clear? We'll make a brief stop midway for refreshments and to use the toilets. We can't plan for the weather, however we will know in advance if the ferry has been cancelled due to adverse weather conditions. If the sea gets too rough, we might experience a delay or have to transfer to a later sailing. I suggest that people who experience motion sickness see their pharmacist and medicate themselves accordingly before boarding the ferry. Please note that passengers cannot return to their vehicles to retrieve items once the ferry sets sail, so take essential personal belongings with you. We won't be stopping in Dublin, so no tour of the Guinness Brewery on this trip. Instead, we'll be heading for our accommodation in the village of Dundrum, which is famous for its Norman castle. The journey will take about 2 hours, so we'll stop for a short break en route.
Now you have some time to read questions 17 to 20.
Right, has everyone received their handouts? The sheet you want has the schedule for each day on the front page and a map on the reverse side. You'll notice that there are 6 days of activities listed. The morning of day 1, that's Saturday, is spent travelling to our accommodation. After lunch, we'll take a walk in the National Trust Nature Reserve by the sea. On the following day, day 2, if the weather is fine, we can spend all day in the mountains of Mourne. These are made of granite rock. Alternatively, if the weather is poor, we can split the day between a visit to the Silent Valley Reservoir, Belfast water supply, and a visit to the town of Newcastle, followed by a walk in Tollymore Park. These places are shown on your map. On the morning of day 3, we'll be travelling north to Portrush to our new lodgings. In the afternoon, we'll visit the Giant's Causeway. This is Ireland's first World Heritage Site and a popular tourist destination. People come to see the basalt hexagonal columns created from an outpouring of volcanic magma. Following this, there's a 9-mile walk around the headland to the famous Carrick a Reed rope bridge. It's not for the faint-hearted, but you don't have to cross it. Day 4 is a recovery day with a tour of the Whitewater Brewery and a beer tasting session in the afternoon. On day 5 we'll visit Londonderry before heading towards the Glenalea Valley to see the metamorphic rocks. On our last day we'll travel to Ballycastle with its 150-metre high dolerite cliffs, which are popular with rock climbers. That's on day 6. After leaving the cliffs, we'll make our way back to Dublin to catch the late ferry home.
That is the end of part 2.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 3.
Before you listen to the audio, check questions 21 to 27.
Thanks everyone for coming along. Today I am going to talk about a star in our kitchen, the induction cooker. How many of you have it in your home? Please raise your hands.
Everyone, I guess.
Yeah, almost everyone. Can you please tell me what you find most interesting about it?
It cooks really fast. I find it amazing that the pot doesn't get hot even when the water in it is boiling.
Okay, I'll cover both your points in my talk. That is, how it cooks so fast and why the pot isn't heated. I'll also talk about the energy efficiency of this wonderful gadget. But first, let's see how it works. All electrical machines like motors or generators lose heat through something that is technically known as magnetic hysteresis or eddy current loss. In fact, a big challenge for electrical engineers is to reduce this loss. But in induction heating, they multiply the eddy current loss to generate more heat. If you look at the schematic diagram on this slide, you'll see that the main part of an induction heater is a specially designed induction coil. You know what a coil looks like. Can you point it out on the diagram?
The bottom half of the diagram at the center.
And where do you see the main power supply circuit?
Right underneath the coil.
Right. And the cooling system?
At the bottom right corner is a fan. I guess that's what you're looking for.
Absolutely. Where do you see the control and timer circuit?
Top right.
And top left is the ceramic cooktop. The device has a high-frequency oscillator too, but you don't see it in the diagram.
Before you listen to the rest of the audio, check questions 28 to 30.
The electromagnetic coil is just under the ceramic plate on which we place the cooking pot. It produces a strong, high-frequency electromagnetic field. Whenever a pot made of a magnetic material like iron is placed over this coil, a high-frequency magnetic field passes through the pot and generates heat in the substance kept within the pot, thanks to the eddy current loss. And this is the reason why the pot doesn't get heated. Rather, it becomes a part of the heating equipment. In conventional electric or gas stoves, heat is first transferred to the pot through contact or proximity, and then it passes on to the food. In the process, a significant part of the heat energy is lost. But nothing is lost in the universe. The so-called lost energy just makes the environment hotter. According to a technical document published in 2001 by the US Department of Energy, DOE, the efficiency of energy transfer for an induction cooker is 84%, as against 74% for a smooth-top non-induction electrical unit. This translates to approximately 12% saving in energy for the same amount of heat transfer. However, independent tests conducted by research labs show that the actual efficiency of induction cookers is usually between 74% and 77%, and it occasionally reaches 81%. Therefore, the 84% induction efficiency reference value should be taken with caution. In comparison and in agreement with the DOE findings, cooking with gas has an average energy efficiency of about 40%. So, for environmental considerations, induction heaters are preferable to gas burners. However, does it mean that all induction cookers are equally environment friendly? The answer is an emphatic no, because the ultimate environmental impact of any stove doesn't depend on the units of electricity it consumes, but on the environmental cost of producing those units of electricity. Electricity itself is produced in many different ways, and every plant contributes to global warming differently. For example, solar or wind electricity does not produce any greenhouse gases at all. Therefore, if you ran your induction heater with solar power, you wouldn't harm the environment at all. However, coal-fired electricity generators are one of the biggest producers of carbon dioxide, the most common greenhouse gas. And among these plants, different ones operate at different efficiency levels. It has been calculated that if the plant emits less than 435 grams of CO2 per kilowatt hour, the greenhouse effect of an induction cooker will be lower than that of a gas cooker.
That is the end of part 3.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 4.
Before you listen to the audio, read questions 31 to 40.
Kepler mission. The centuries-old quest for other worlds like our Earth has been rejuvenated by the intense excitement and popular interest surrounding the discovery of hundreds of planets orbiting other stars. There is now clear evidence for substantial numbers of 3 types of exoplanets: gas giants, hot super-Earths in short-period orbits, and ice giants. The challenge now is to find terrestrial planets, that is, those 1/2 to twice the size of the Earth, especially those in the habitable zone of their stars, where liquid water might exist on the surface of the planet. The Kepler mission is specifically designed to survey our region of the Milky Way galaxy to discover hundreds of Earth-size and smaller planets in or near the habitable zone and determine the fraction of the hundreds of billions of stars in our galaxy that might have such planets. So, what exactly is Kepler? Kepler is a space telescope that measures the dimming of stars as planets pass in front of them, blocking just a little bit of that light from reaching us. Named after astronomer Johannes Kepler, the spacecraft was launched on March 7, 2009, into an Earth-trailing heliocentric orbit. Kepler's data reveals planet sizes as well as their distance from their parent star, like our Sun. Together, this helps astronomers to understand whether these planets are small and rocky, like the terrestrial planets in our own solar system, or how much light they receive from their parent star. In turn, this provides clues as to whether these planets that we discover might be habitable or not. Objectives of the mission. The scientific objective of the Kepler mission is to explore the structure and diversity of planetary systems. This is achieved by surveying a large sample of stars to determine the percentage of terrestrial and larger planets that are in or near the habitable zone of a wide variety of stars, determine the distribution of sizes and shapes of the orbits of these planets, estimate how many planets there are in multiple star systems, determine the variety of orbit sizes and planet reflectivities, sizes, masses and densities of short-period giant planets, identify additional members of each discovered planetary system using other techniques, determine the properties of those stars that harbour planetary systems. Transit method. When a planet passes in front of a star as viewed from Earth, the event is called a transit. On Earth, we can observe an occasional Venus or Mercury transit. These events are seen as a small black dot creeping across the Sun. Venus or Mercury blocks sunlight as the planet moves between the Sun and us. Kepler finds planets by looking for tiny dips in the brightness of a star when a planet crosses in front of it. We say the planet transits the star. Once detected, the planet's orbital size can be calculated from the period, how long it takes the planet to orbit once around the star, and the mass of the star using Kepler's third law of planetary motion. The size of the planet is found from the depth of the transit, how much the brightness of the star drops, and the size of the star. From the orbital size and the temperature of the star, the planet's characteristic temperature can be calculated. From this, the question of whether or not the planet is habitable, not necessarily inhabited, can be answered. Target field of view. Since transits only last a fraction of a day, all the stars must be monitored continuously. That is, their brightness must be measured at least once every few hours. The ability to continuously view the stars being monitored dictates that the field of view, FOV, must never be blocked at any time during the year. Therefore, to avoid the Sun, the FOV must be out of the ecliptic plane. The secondary requirement is that the FOV have the largest possible number of stars. This leads to the selection of a region in the Cygnus and Lyra constellations of our galaxy as areas of study. Kepler's second mission, K2. The loss of a second of the 4 reaction wheels on board the Kepler spacecraft in May 2013 brought an end to Kepler's 4-year science mission to continuously monitor more than 150,000 stars to search for transiting exoplanets. Developed over the months following this failure, the K2 mission represents a new concept for spacecraft operations that enables continued scientific observations with the Kepler Space Telescope. K2 became fully operational in May 2014 and is expected to continue operating until 2017 or 2018. Using the transit method to detect brightness changes, the K2 mission entails a series of sequential observing campaigns of fields distributed around the ecliptic plane and offers a photometric precision approaching that of the original Kepler mission. Operating in the ecliptic plane minimizes the torque exerted on the spacecraft by solar wind pressure, reducing pointing drift to the point where spacecraft attitude can effectively be controlled through a combination of thrusters and the two remaining reaction wheels. Each campaign is therefore limited by sun angle constraints to a duration of approximately 80 days.
That is the end of part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
So guys, don't forget like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. IELTS updates and recent exams. For more updates related to recent IELTS exam writing test topics, listening, reading, practice test and speaking, you got guesswork. Please guys, participate in everyday new IELTS listening and reading practice tests to achieve your desired band score in your actual IELTS exam. For more IELTS material, visit my official website www.ieltsupdatesandrecentexams.com. The link is given below in the description. If you need PDF files of latest IELTS material, then please join my Telegram channel. So guys, please write your score below the comment section. Again, thanks for listening. God bless you all guys. Stay tuned, stay safe.